Okay, now next I will show you the third feature, that is the anchor watch. So when you click on anchor watch, you see whatever the turning radius or turning circle or monitoring circle that you calculate, like for the number of shackles and the length from your forward to your bridge, whatever it is, you can just click. Like suppose for example, I think for about 5 shackles and my length of my vessel, it comes to about 275 meters. I can just click over here, you see over here, and you click it on. When you click on, your anchor watch is on the monitoring. So once the vessel goes out of this area, there will be an alarm. Let me tell you, like the Furuno and other ECDIS, in JRC you cannot change the position or drag the position of the monitoring circle in the JRC 9201. Only whenever you drop the anchor, that would, or just about a few minutes after you drop the anchor, it would be best to click on the anchor watch, the monitoring circle, and click it on. Now next up we will go is the chart. So when you click on chart, here is the option for manual update. Usually we use this update to do the TNP corrections that you receive. So to do the manual update, first you have to go to the location where the manual update has to be taken place. For example, I choose this area where I have received a TNP correction. Now when I click on manual update, there will be an option which shows me select objects depending on the selected display category. Do you wish to display category to all? Basically what it is trying to say is, this category, do you want to display it to all or keep it on custom? I don't see any reason why to put the all, as it will just clutter your screen more. So probably most of the times this is what I do. I click on no, and now you get an option here to select the chart. So when you click on select the chart, there is a list of chart and you see the cursor has a question mark. Now suppose if this is the area where I intend to do my TNP or any other manual corrections, I will click over here. Once I click, as you can see, there is a list of charts that are applicable to this area that is being displayed. Now suppose this is a harbor chart, so I will select the smallest scale over here. So it is over here and I click OK. So when I do that, as you can see, let me zoom out, only this area of chart is visible now and all other areas are out of focus. Basically they are not being displayed. So what it's trying to tell you is that you can do your chart corrections now only in this area. So once you click like that, you see over here there are type and many other manual updates. The difference between user chart and this update is that in user chart there are very limited symbols, but in the manual update symbol there are a list of symbols that you can choose from. Now suppose if there is any update that says that you have to display a buoy, so now suppose if it's an isolated danger buoy or lateral buoy or safe water buoy or any multi-purpose beacon buoy, whatever it is, you can choose. Now for example, I will choose this buoy. Okay, and since I have the position of it, I will just randomly click it somewhere out here. So once I click it out here, you see to the right side you can change the position of the GPS position of this, whatever you receive in your corrections. Now edit attribute, this is specially for corrections of buoys, where you can click on the edit attribute and then you can see here, like in your corrections, you will get what is the beacon shape, what is the color, what is the pattern. So whatever information is given in your corrections, you can select that. Like for example, beacon shape, category, color, or the date the correction is supposed to be ending, the height, elevation, whatever you require. If it is a conspicuous radar object, conspicuous visually, and then whatever you require, you can just click on add. Click here and click on add. Now once you have put it out here, you can click it on edit attribute, click on beacon shape, and then you will get a list of values that you can select. What is the beacon shape? Color, whatever is the color, you can click and you can click add. So these are the minor things that you can do, and that changes will be flashed on this your manual correction. So this is how you do it. After you do this manual correction, you just click on save and the correction will be saved. Now suppose let me just close this out here. Do you want to save it? I will say no, I don't want to save it. And now you can see my chart is again back to normal. Now suppose if there is any manual update correction that you wish to delete, what you do is you again go on menu, click on chart, click on manual update, select no, and now you have to select the chart like I showed you. Select the chart, click over here, click on the smallest possible scale, and the chart is displayed. Now suppose for example it says that this buoy, it does not exist anymore. So what you do is you just right click on the buoy, you click on buoy lateral, and you can click on delete or move this object, whatever is your correction like, and then after that you can save it and the correction will be updated in your ECDIS. So guys, this is how you do manual update correction. This is just small things I can show you. Rest next. Now there are many surveyors which ask you what is the chart 1 symbology and how do you show it. So for that you click on menu, you go to chart, and then you click on the arrow down below. There's an ECDIS chart 1 option. When you click that, here you get a several list of charts. Choose the first one, or any one is possible, but choose the first one. Now basically the feature is about date dependent view. What this new feature says that if your ECDIS is updated to the latest presentation library, you will be able to view the symbols coming and going, and you will be also able to view all these corrections that has been happened. If it is not updated, you will not be able to view all these corrections when you click on the date dependent view. Now to display the date dependent view on ECDIS, you go on menu, out here you select the chart, you select the date dependent view. Once you select the date dependent view, you see over here there is a date dependent view. Now for your assistance, they showed that any date before this particular date mentioned over here will give you the desired results. For your convenience, I have already preloaded the date out here. Like I have said, the date display is 2013 and end is 2013. So when I click, now it is enabled. Now let me disable it. Now you see, when I disable the date dependent view, the symbol is gone. Now let me show you. When I click on enable, the buoy is displayed here, and when I click on disable, the buoy is gone away. So this shows this is the only thing that you have to show to the surveyor, and he will be satisfied with this much. In case you want to change the date, you can just change it out here by just directly clicking it. It is simple. And when you want to go to your normal display, you can just click on home over here, or you can also click a home button out here. Next up is when you see, let me check if there is something else I can show you in the chart. There is nothing else of so much of importance. It is basically these things that were important in the vetting point of view or surveyor point of view, especially for second mates, for them to show. So basically this is the user chart which I've already showed it to you. This is the target and AIS menus. It's just if you want to change your voyage data, if you're moved or underway or whatever, you can just click the draft, change the draft, destination, and click on send, and it will be automatically updated in your AIS. I showed you the tool options as well. Now I will show you EBL VRM. This is the MOB marker. Okay guys, for manual position fix, you have to click on menu, go to tools, and then there's an option called manual position fix. Click on manual position fix, and then you see these things come out here: LOP1, bearing, distance, etc. So by taking a visual bearing or by bearing from a radar, or however you prefer, you take a target. So basically, just for example, now let me show you that this is my vessel, and for example I am taking a bearing of this object right here. So whatever the bearing is, I will just click on it and I will make a random mark like that. Now suppose the bearing is somewhere, let me just check for the bearing so that I give you an approximate idea. So suppose the bearing is somewhere around looks like 210 maybe, yeah, close to that one, so it's like 212. Okay, so you see when I take the bearing visually, I get the bearing 212, and that's how I plot it out here. Okay, once you put the bearing, you can click on set. Once you have clicked on set, now there's a distance. This distance you can take from radar, whatever the distance is, you can just use that distance and you can plot it. Now for example, this distance looks to be around 0.352. so I will, guys, just want to remind you that don't take the distance from ECDIS, always take the distance from radar. That's how you will know how much your position is offset, distance and bearing both. I'm just showing you just as an example because my radar is switched off. Like I told you, I'm in port. So once I put this, can you see this circle out here, the circle out here that's made, and then you click on set again. Now both the bearing and the range have darkened up. Now once this is done, you can click on plot, set plotted position. This is EP, estimated position, and here you can choose a variety of other things: radar range, visual bearing, radar range, whatever. You can, once it's selected, you can close, and don't forget to click on clear all lines. In the same way, if you want bearings from two different places, so you can do that also. You can take a bearing, out here like that, then you can click on set. Again, you have to take a bearing. Suppose from this place you take a bearing, put it over here, whatever the bearing is, you can just put it over here and then click on set, and then this plot, and the same procedure that I showed you last time, but the only difference is this time you will click on set position, EP, and then you can select visual bearing. So once you did that, you can plot the position. This is an example of how you plot manual position fix on your ECDIS. Well, the next option which I can show you is, it's just a basic thing. Let me show you just in case you guys are not aware of it. When you right click on an object, here you see the dropped EBL VRM. Once you click on this, you can just drop it anywhere and take a visual range and bearing both. Okay, and there are two options, EBL1 and EBL2. Now CCRP EBL, once you click on that, it will center on your vessel, and from your vessel you can check the range and distance. So this is a basic thing, very simple thing for you to. Rest I already showed you. In the view option, the two most important thing is the chart common option and the chart display option. Guys, just one more thing, let me tell you. Just see here, there is a Marks Mariners line. Here these things are not of concern, but over here our ECDIS JRC JAN-9201 gives you an option of automatically plotting the NAVTEX warnings that you receive. So now what do I normally do is, I enable this on one of my ECDIS and I disable this on my other ECDIS to avoid clutter. So whatever update I get on my other ECDIS for NAVTEX, I do a user chart plotting and then I transfer the user chart file to this ECDIS. So in this way, only one ECDIS is a bit more cluttered than the other one. Normally I keep one ECDIS as free from clutter as possible for others, for my other junior officers and masters to have a clear look. So you can do the same as well. Well, in the view option, let me check again if there is something of importance that I have missed. Rest everything looks okay and not of so much of importance. Rest we can go to alert. I showed you all the depth settings, look ahead feature and everything else. Next we can go to the settings feature. Now settings feature has a few things, which is just the gain and see. I normally don't fidget with all this. Is default setting. The only thing that I do over here is if you see the sounds option, when I click the sounds option, here are the various sound options that you can change alert, like for level 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, like for your navigation if you want level 2, level 3 for navigation 3 for CPA. Normally when we are approaching in the pilot, there's too much of noise in the ECDIS. That is why I have kept it to minimum, my friends. But when you are out at sea, I would prefer to keep it at level 2 at least for navigation alarm and CPA TCAP alarm, which will be very handy to you. Okay guys, now finally I will just go through a few small basic things that you might require in your everyday ECDIS use. These are a few minor things, can be easily found out, but I will still show it to you so that you will not have to take too much of effort trying to figure it out. Okay, so now let's start with the thing. In the options, in the view, you can see right out here, this is the own ship outline, like ground stabilized, sea stabilized, whatever you feel like, you can select it out here. In this own track, this is where you can see that the track period can be set for 24 hours. You can select the color, you can change it for whatever hours you require. Normally it is preferred to have 24 hours, especially for second mate, so that they can calculate the distance. This is the timetable, like at how many time intervals do you want the ECDIS to automatically plot the position and also put in the log. So what normally I do is I keep it for 5 minutes in my primary ECDIS and every minute in my backup ECDIS, and I always take the logbook copy of the ECDIS from my backup one, so that I get every minute position. And this is the pass position interval. It is for 0.5 minutes. You can keep it for whatever, like minutes or distance, however you prefer it to be. Another thing guys, what I do is normally I enable the NAVTEX in my backup ECDIS and I don't enable the NAVTEX in my primary ECDIS. Like I said earlier, it creates a lot of clutter. So I'll show you how to enable and disable your NAVTEX. You have to just go here. You have to just go here in the options. You can see Marks Mariners. Here you can see NAVTEX. When you click, the MSI symbol will be displayed. Let me show you. Like for example, this one. Can you see here? This is the MSI symbol that is displayed. This is for the automatic plotting of the NAVTEX that you receive. And also when you click over here, you can disable the NAVTEX. One more thing you can do is you can also set the stations that you want in your NAVTEX. So it is very simple. What you have to do is, you can see this symbol out here. This is the NAVTEX messages symbol. You can just click, okay, and here you can see all the NAVTEX messages that you are receiving. Everything can be clearly displayed, and whatever NAVTEX methods have a position, you can just directly jump to that position by clicking on jump. It is a very simple and a straightforward method, so it won't be too much of a task for you to find out. Another thing about NAVTEX is that you can also click on menu over here. You can go to your settings option, and in the settings option down below, when you scroll, you can see NAVTEX. When you click on NAVTEX, here you can see that you have the option to highlight whatever kind of messages that you require. I normally don't highlight weather and ice warnings because it is not required and it creates too much of clutter. So basically I have highlighted navigation, search and rescue, and extended navigational information. Right now here below you can see that display filtering of NAVTEX messages. You can select what kind of NAVTEX messages that you require. When you click over here, you see the filtering of the stations, like whatever stations you require, you can display, and also the type of messages. For example, I have selected the display of all the stations because I don't want to waste my time finding out what is the station in the area. So I have selected all the stations, but what I did was I filtered the messages that I require. So I filtered for navigational warnings, search and rescue, pilot information, and all other information that is relevant and that is required. You can also select anything that you need as per your preferences. There is also a display filtering of NAVTEX receiver. More or less, sometimes you can do that. It takes some time, but in my ECDIS normally I don't use this option. This is just for you to show that you can also filter the kind of messages that you need to see from your NAVTEX. Okay guys, now normally what happens is we go from a different time zone, from one time zone to another, and it is required for us to do advance and retard in your ECDIS system as well. So for that you have to go to menu, right down here, go to maintenance. You can see time, date, zone. Click over here, and here is the time zone. So you can just select for every half an hour there are different time zones. So whenever you go to a different time zone, you can just select whatever it is, click on it, and automatically your time will change. You can also use this option, like I have already done this, synchronize time with your data source. So basically what is this means that your time source is basically GPS, and it will take the feed from GPS about the time zone, and this feed it takes in the UTC. So you can also change it if you want. Now this is the synchronized time zone. So basically your GPS also tries to find out in what time zone are you, but because of the daylight saving there is always certain differences, so it is better not to synchronize it. It is better only to synchronize the time source, so that is your GPS, and it will give you the exact UTC time. Another one basic thing is for you to find out what CATZOC value are you in. So basically when you're making a passage plan, you have to also feed in what CATZOC area are you in. It is very simple. All you have to do is, you see this option right on top, all. When you click on all the display filter is popped up, and then you can see this CATZOC out here. So it is very simple, and you can find out what CATZOC area are you in. If you don't like this method, all you can do is you can right click on the chart, click on cursor pick, and click on chart legend out here. Over here you see cursor pick object chart legend, and it will show you all the details of the chart, basically the issue date, the chart number, the compilation scale, and the zone of confidence right here. So when you click over here, it will show you what zone of confidence your vessel is in. Now I'll show you how to update the ECDIS. Now you click on menu, click down, go to code input. Code input, you have to put the code 9999. I guess this is the same code for all the ECDIS out here. So probably JRC has the same code, so it should be more or less the same everywhere. So now there are all these options. So the thing that concerns us is basically this, the main ECDIS, the playback function, and the chart maintenance. So well, my ECDIS here is directly integrated with the NAVTEX system, so I don't need a base CD to update my ECDIS, but I will also try to tell you all how to update it through a base CD. Now when we get a permit file, I put the permit file in my pen drive right here, okay, and I click on this chart maintenance. So it takes a bit of time to open up, and now it is open. So do you see here, this is the import license file. So I click over here, I click ENC manually, I go to my pen drive option, I will open up here, and there will be a .txt permit.txt file. I will click and I will click OK. That's how I will import my permit file if I am taking it from a pen drive. Now since my computer, my ECDIS is directly integrated, all I have to do is click manually, go to the drive where my permit file is directly fed in by NAVTEX, go to the permit column, go to ECDIS to click OK, and my permit file is already installed. Now after permit file, you will have to install the base DVD. Since my ECDIS again is integrated directly with the NAVTEX system, I don't also need to put the base DVD. For all those people who have to put the base DVD, the procedure is click on import, click on ENC, put in the CD drive, put in the DVD in the drive unit, click on manually. Here you will get an option like local disk. you click there and click OK, and your ECDIS will run the base DVD. Like that, you have two base DVDs to run, base DVD 1 and base DVD 2. Well, for my ECDIS, I don't have to do that. I have to just click manually, go to the X drive and click OK, and it will automatically search for the latest updates, and I have to click OK. So you see, like that, it is directly going to update my ECDIS. And it is done. Likewise, you have to also update the TNP file. So same way, you have to go to ENC. All I have to do here is go to Info and select the AIO option, click OK. It will look for the file and it is going to import. Okay, as you see guys, the file has been imported or updated. So let me tell you again that first, to get the permits, if you have to take the permits from the planning station, you have to put it in the pen drive. Then you have to go to import license file, ENC, click on the drive of your pen drive, for example the Kingston drive, and then click OK on the permit.txt file that you receive. Once you are done with that, you have to also import the update file that you get from the planning station. Once you get it, you first have to run the base DVD, which you have to go like that. You have to go to import charts, ENC, go to manually, select on the drive the drive in which you have put the DVD and run the DVD. After you have done that, then you have to select the same way Kingston. There will be the update file over here, and then you click OK, and your ECDIS will be updated to the latest weekly update. I hope you guys understand this, and just to get a proper check that everything has been updated, you can in the end click on check status and see that your latest week has been updated in your ECDIS. This is the way how you can update ECDIS. I'm extremely sorry that my ECDIS is directly integrated with NAVTEX, so I cannot actually run the DVD and show it to you. And there's another feature called playback feature out here. Same way, you have to click on menu, go to code input, type 4 times 9, and then you can click on the playback function. So the playback function is a bit slow, probably in all the ECDIS it's a bit slow, and then it comes out like that. And you can play whatever date you want to play. It is there. I won't load and show it since it takes a lot of time to load and run. Once you click the option, it will open up to that day and you play it, and it will show what and where your ship was and how did you maneuver at that time. It's a simple thing, and you have to exit. So these are basically almost all the important things that I've tried to cover in the ECDIS. If there is anything else you would like me to show you, please mention in the comment section, and I will come back with another video for that.